But if you go to fulltimefba.com/co-working, you'll be able to download this sheet. This worksheet is what we're going to be going through. And it's something that once you download it, you can print out as many copies as you want to use in the future and use this to help plan out your first sourcing session or your next sourcing session when you are going to plan to go out and find inventory. This is a great way to get that started. And we're going to walk through this today. And so again, as always, Rebecca's going to be in the chat. So thank you for doing that, Rebecca.
Are you ready to get started?
I think so.
You ready for me to turn my camera off is basically what I'm asking.
Oh, well, yes. Well,
Oh.
we'll do that and we'll see you toward the end.
All right, I'll be in the chat.
Yep. So when we have our coaching calls, again, our full-time FBA coaching program, we have bi-weekly coaching calls. And that means every other week, not twice a week. Every other week, we have a coaching call where we come together, whether it's a one-on-one coaching call, if you sign up for an individual coaching plan, or if it's a group coaching plan, we have our group that comes together. And we start our coaching calls off always with the same one question. What has been a win that you have experienced in your Amazon business? And we go and we share our wins. We're starting things off on a positive note. We're hearing what other people in the coaching program are doing and experiencing. It's very inspirational. Sometimes it leads to some Q&A like, well, with this situation that you just won, how did you make this into a win? How did you get this outcome? And we have some really great conversations about that. And so we always start off our coaching calls with wins and we share those wins. Some wins are big, huge wins. Like I found 2 new replens this week and I look forward to being able to sell them for potentially years to come. Or it could be a win that was taken care of that week that was a smaller win. Maybe I finished module 1 in the Jumpstart Amazon course. We see that as a win because I can tell you how many people have purchased and enrolled in the Jumpstart Amazon course that don't even get through a few modules. Like they they never even press play on module 1. So it is a legitimate win for you to finish a module, for you to finish a video. And so it's something that we celebrate with one another. Sometimes we have balloons, sometimes we have confetti. It's fun. We keep things fun in the full-time FBA coaching program. And so it was something that was just we've always started off our calls this way, and it's always really good. Then after that, we transition from sharing our wins to a teaching aspect where I teach through a certain topic. It's always a different topic each day. That we have our coaching calls. We go through these coaching calls, and back in August, I started teaching on preparing for Q4. Now that it's October, we'll start into teaching on preparing for Q1. And sometimes it'll be a tool, an Amazon reseller tool that we're going to walk through the ins and outs of. Sometimes it's going to be a mindset that we need to have and we need to own in order to move forward in our Amazon business. And it's something that mindset stuff is really missing from a lot of other coaching programs out there because they just mostly focus on certain strategies. But sometimes we can know, and in fact, I said this a few days ago on this call, we can know exactly what to do to find success, but actually doing it can sometimes be hard. Actually doing it and following through with the steps can sometimes be hard. Like I know exactly what I need to do to lose weight, but actually doing it and following through with all those steps can be hard. But it's helpful when you've got a clear path to follow, when you've got accountability of people that you are meeting with on a bi-weekly basis, and when you have encouragement along the way that you can do that. And that's what we do in our coaching program. Provide that accountability, that encouragement, and that pathway towards success. And so we go through the teaching program, teaching aspect of our coaching calls, which we're going to show you an example of in just a moment. And then after the coaching teaching aspect, we open things up to Q&A. Q&A based off of the teaching, Q&A on I just watched module 3 of the Keepa course and I had a question. Could you help bring some clarity to this question? Or I might not have understood it. And so we help you follow through with the things that you are learning and help you if you didn't understand it with watching it in the course, the video module in the course, we walk through maybe, and plus that also helps me that when I do update the course in the future, maybe to explain things a little bit better or to explain things in different ways. Because sometimes you can teach the same lesson, but just explain it from a different angle that might help someone else who has a different type of learning um, uh, uh, habit, the because we all learn in different types of ways. Some of us are more visual, some of us are more hands-on, some of us need the step by step, some of us need to see it. There's different aspects of learning, and so we kind of go through those Q&A times together. Hey, Stephen, I had this issue with Seller Central. I don't know how to solve it. What do you suggest? And we walk through those. And then at the end of the call, we all come together and we share our goals. What are your goals for the next 2 weeks until our next coaching call? What are the goals that we're going to be focusing on? And if I hear a goal that's a little bit too broad and not really focused in on a task, then I'll kind of help bring some focus and kind of funnel down what you want to do. Like if you're like, my goal is to make $10,000 next month on Amazon. And I'm like, okay, let's kind of focus, like, break that down. So, like, how are you going to reach that goal? And what are the steps you're going to take to reach that goal? And is 10,000 a realistic goal or is it unrealistic? Is it something that's going to stretch you or is it something that's going to be really easy? Will kind of help us understand the goals that we're doing. Or if someone has a goal that they share that, um, you know, I might be like, well, that might be a good longer term goal, but we're going to talk about goals for just the next 2 weeks. So let's talk about how to get from point A to B instead of A to Z. And so you have that kind of help with focusing on what your goals really do need to be. So it's not just we're sharing our goals and we're finishing the call. If there are any goals that need to be tweaked, adjusted, pivoted, or um, even maybe it's a goal that you've been focusing on for a long time and you keep saying it's your same goal, well, maybe it just needs to have a little more simplicity to the goal that you're focusing on. And so we kind of go over that together to finish the calls. But a lot of times there's magic in the sharing wins. There's magic in sharing the goals because you get to hear other people's goals and you'd be like, that's a goal I want to have too. Maybe after I finish this goal, that will be my next goal that I can focus on. Or I would love to be at that stage in my Amazon business where I can focus on that goal I just heard someone else share. And I'd be like, I want to be at that place in about 6 months. And so you can start working towards that. But a lot of the magic happens in our full-time FBA coaching calls when we get right down to the strategies. The strategies, the things you need to do. Some of them are simple, some of them are more complex to make that full-time income selling on Amazon. So if I like shared everything that I know and have experienced and have coached others on how to make a full-time income with only part-time hours, that would be I mean, like easily like 150 hours worth of teaching. We have hour-long coaching calls. So we focus in on one aspect, one thing that we're going to focus on. And since we meet together every other week, that's 26 times a year you get to learn and start implementing a new strategy to grow your Amazon business. And so what we're going to do today is walk through this sourcing success sheet. It's hard to say that fast and clear. Sourcing success sheet. It's hard to say that without accidentally swearing on accident. Um, so your sourcing success session, that this is what we're going to be working through today. When you want to find inventory to sell on Amazon, this is the best place to start going through this. And so if you have not done it yet, print it out, fultonefba.com/co-working. Yes, the link works with the hyphen and without the hyphen. Rebecca's put it in the chat, fultonefba.com/co-working, and you can download this sheet print it out and walk through this session with me. So hopefully you've already had the time to print it out. If not, if you're watching this on the replay, just click pause, print it out, bring it back. It's a very simple thing to do and work through, but the results for focusing on this and making sure this was taken care of, it's huge. It's great. It's something that can really help you make the most of your time to maximize the time that you're spending trying to find inventory. So, number one right there on the page, choose your sourcing method. What sourcing method are you going to do? There's retail arbitrage, going somewhere locally, trying to find inventory to sell on Amazon. There's online arbitrage, getting on your computer, finding online stores, buying stuff there to sell on Amazon. Wholesale arbitrage, trying to reach out to a brand to earn a wholesale relationship where you can buy their inventory at wholesale prices and sell it on Amazon. Or maybe you are still closer to a beginner, the beginning stages of your Amazon business, and you need to focus on garage sale or thrifting. Now, we don't recommend garage sale and thrifting except for beginners who are just learning how to understand different processes with Amazon, different categories, and because each category on Amazon has a different personality in relation to sales rank. And so garage sale and thrifting, it's great. You're not going to find any replens with garage sales and thrifting, but you can learn the ropes and basically learn how different categories interact with sales rank so that you can, when you're ready to start looking for replens, have that knowledge base, that foundational base. So if garage sale and thrifting, if that's the stage that you are in, then great. So choose that. So choose your sourcing method. So in fact, I want to see in the comments, let me know if you are planning a sourcing session for Monday. We're recording this on Saturday night. We're going to do some sourcing on Monday. Which one of these would you choose for Monday? Retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, wholesale. Okay, you can do some thrifting. They're not probably not going to be some garage sales on Monday. We might have to wait until the weekend for that. But let me know which type of sourcing uh, strategy, sourcing method would you choose? Um, if you wanted to do retail arbitrage, our course Jumpstart Amazon really helps you understand retail arbitrage and making choices with that. If you're wanting to do online arbitrage, going through the course, the Reseller's Guide to Online Arbitrage can help you with that. Um, you can maybe find stores online that you've heard of, or if you've never heard of a store that you want to, or you've tried other stores that you've heard of before and you want to find some new online stores, do a little quick Google search on a category. Maybe you love camping and you're like, oh, I'm so glad it's finally camping weather where I live. So look into some camping stores. Get on Google, type in camping store, and there might be some near you that you can do some retail arbitrage, or go online and do online arbitrage at some of these camping stores. Make it fun. I mean, yes, there will be profitable items at almost any type of retail arbitrage or online arbitrage store that you go to, and and it's just I'm telling you, picking something that is known by you because it's just more fun, right? It's just more fun. I am going to now walk you through if you want to do some wholesale sourcing, the first steps that you need to take when it comes to wholesale sourcing. So, Rebecca, I'm going to share my screen and I'm just going to go to Amazon.com. So if you can see if you can see the Amazon sales page, it should be on your screen right now. Do you see it?
See it.
All right. So yeah, you see here's Amazon. It's wanting us to purchase Halloween stuff because Halloween's right around the corner. But here is my strategy for you. If you go to actually, I'm gonna just jump right to this. If you go to fulltimefba.com/best sellers, you're gonna find the best sellers on Amazon. You can go through and see, okay, oh, a Stanley Cup is the number one bestseller. That's not a shocker. It's been a bestseller for like months now. But here's what you want to do. Obviously, you probably can't reach out to Stanley and ask Stanley. That sounds like I'm talking to Stanley from the office. Ask Stanley if it's okay if you can sell the Stanley items. Most likely, third-party sellers like you and me need to find wholesale brands that we've never heard of before, but are still going to be profitable on Amazon. And what you do with that, how you find those brands on Amazon that are selling really well that you've never heard of, it's called niching down. And so let's niche down. So how you niche down, you go to fultonefba.com/bestsellers. Let's niche down. So we're going to look at let's see. Let's go to pet supplies. We're going to go to the pet supplies. Um, and now we're looking at all the bestsellers in pet supplies. All right, well, let's niche down even more. Always niche down a few steps. Dogs. We're going to go to dogs. Well, I like dogs. I'm not a big fan of cats. I'm allergic to most cats. So anyway, dogs, and you see the bestsellers in dogs. All right, well, let's do some dog toys. We're just really niching down here. And now we start to see different all the bestsellers in these dog toys. And so you can start to go through and you'll see I use a tool called Rev Seller that automatically populates certain information in my Chrome extension uh, right underneath the image of an item. So I can actually go through and be like, okay, I'm actually restricted for this item. I'm restricted in fact, if you want to check out Rev Seller, I highly recommend it. Fulltimefba.com/Rev Seller. That's RevSeller. Rebecca will put that in the show notes. But this is a tool that I use almost every day when I'm doing online arbitrage. But I can see, okay, oh, this one does not have restricted. It's got sell. This one does not have restricted. It says sell. So it means I'm already approved. So I don't even have to worry about trying to waste my time trying to get a, I mean, you can with you if you actually get the wholesale account, then you can get approved. But sometimes would just like to know you're already approved. So you can start to go through and look and see what the what items and what brands are connected. And so be like, all right, I'm just gonna open this in a new tab. I'm gonna open this one in a new tab and open this in a new tab. And so now I've got the top three. All right. So you got this place by the brand Best Pet Supplies Store. Okay. That's not actually a brand, is it? No. So I'm just not even going to do that. All right. Here's a little wishbone dog toy. All right, Brennabone. All right, that's the name Brennabone or Brenbone. I don't know how to pronounce it. This item might not be profitable for me to sell on Amazon, but once I get access to the brand's product list, I can compare that product list with Amazon. And so um, this is an item, it's number 37 in pet supplies. That's awesome. So then I just go to Google and I Google Brennabone and I find that website. I've never heard of that before. Maybe you have. I haven't, but I've been able to kind of unlock this access to knowing these are the best-selling items on Amazon, and here's the brands. All right, Chuck It. It sounds like the perfect name for a ball that you throw that your a dog runs in after. Okay, the Chuck It store. Okay, sometimes when it's not a vague store, because the first one I showed you that was like the plush duck or the squeaky duck, that was a vague store name, so it was obvious not a brand. But this brand, I mean, it's the label is on the bucket here, Chuck It. So I want to reach out to them. And so here's the thing: many of the brands, when it comes to wholesale, that are the best of the best, are a little going to be a little bit harder. So another strategy would be to I'm just going to scroll down and just it's just going to continue. Okay, I'm just going to go to page number two. So there's all these other different types of brands that I've never heard of before. And, Kong Air, VitScan, AVOAR, there's all sorts. And here's another thing that's really helpful. Um, just having that kind of access to reach out to these brands. And here's the thing, back to our sourcing success sheet. If you're wanting to focus on wholesale, that's what you would be doing. That is what you would be doing, not during the planning session, but when you actually do the sourcing. You would go through that process and you'd reach out to as many of these wholesale companies as possible. Yes, many of them will tell you no, but some of them might tell you yes. And so that's how and what you need to do. There's so many other steps because there's so many layers to this part of selling on Amazon, but I just kind of wanted to walk you through since we're kind of simulating our coaching session. We skipped over the wins at the beginning. We're going to skip over the goal setting toward the end. But the lesson that I wanted you to learn is that the sourcing success sheet really will help you. So you choose your strategy, retail, online, or wholesale. Step number two, put it on the calendar. Put it on the calendar. Like I just said before, we're doing it on Monday. Mondays, that's when we're going to follow through with this sourcing in our little hypothetical situation. So put it on the calendar, the date, the time. Put it on your phone. Set a reminder. Put it on your calendar on the wall. Mine's right over here. You can even kind of see a little corner of it. Anyway, set it up, put it on your calendar. If you share your calendar with family, make sure they know because it's a time when you're going to get to work. If we think about, I will just fit in my Amazon business when I have the time, when I get around to it, guess what? You're probably never going to have the time. You're probably never going to get around to it. You might on day one, because that's when we are the most focused and the most motivated. Day two, might be really, but by the time it's the day three or day four or however you want to work on your Amazon business, that's when we that motivation starts to fade a little bit and we get lazy. And again, we don't want to be the lazy competition. We want to be the hard worker competition because hard work is what pays off. And so plan a 2 hour sourcing session, put that on your calendar, put a time down. Step number three, make sure you take care of everything you need so that your 2 hour sourcing session can be 100% focused on sourcing. What do you need to do between now and the date that you wrote down? Like I wrote my date down as Monday. Monday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That's the time I put that on my schedule of when I'm going to do some sourcing. So, what do you need to do? There's a little checklist to kind of help you out. If you're doing retail arbitrage, garage sales, or thrifting, you need to make sure your batteries are charged up. You're going to be using your smartphone to help you look for inventory. You need to make sure that you download that app. Make sure, maybe research sales that certain stores are having that are near you if you're doing retail arbitrage. Maybe plan a driving route, which store you're going to go to first, and then which store you're going to go to second. Or for garage sales, which garage sale you're going to go to first, which one second. Plan out your time so that, again, when you start the clock for your 2 hour sourcing session, your time is maximized, not wasted on, well, I went to my first place, but I don't know what I'm going to do for my second one. No, have it all planned out. Plan, in fact, over plan. Plan way more than you need. Plan for basically take a 2 hour sourcing session and plan as if it was a 6 hour sourcing session. Because and number one, things might go wrong and whatever step one was might not work out. You want to make sure you have step two, three, and four planned out for you. You might be like, but Steven, what happens if things go great with step one and I spend my whole 2 hours at step one? I already have steps two through six planned out and I'm not going to use it. Well, you might not use it that day, but guess what? You already have the steps planned for you for day two for your next sourcing session. So be sure you go through what you need to do to make sure all 2 hours straight of your next sourcing success session is focused on sourcing. That's going to help you find that success. Maybe you're like, oh no, online arbitrage or wholesale. Well, guess what? There's things that you can do now to get ready for that. You can sign up for newsletters to track sales and coupon codes of certain stores. Maybe you can go ahead and write a little template of what is going to be your introduction email to these brands or you're filling out a contact form online to reach out to these brands to try to get wholesale relationships, write out what your letter is going to be. What is your email message going to be? Hi, my name is Steven, and I would love to carry your products in my online store. Like, is that all you need? Do you want to do more? There is a strategy. We can go into this in some of our coaching program, but there is a process and a good way to do that. But guess what? Done is better than perfect. A lot of it, and I want you to hear that again because it's something that I learned a long time ago that's really helped me. Done is better than perfect. Sometimes we don't get anything done because we want it to be perfect. But sometimes it's just good that something was completed and done because that means more action is taking. Yes, you're going to make more mistakes just getting something done than making sure it's perfect. But guess what? You're going to learn from those mistakes. You're going to grow. You're also going to find some success along the way. So, done is better than perfect. Think about that in almost every area of your Amazon business. So, um, there's other things on here about how to walk through to get ready for online arbitrage or wholesale sourcing. Maybe you use technical arbitrage. You want to set up a scan for the wholesale um, product list or an online arbitrage store that you want to scan. That's step number three. Make sure all the things are taken care of so that your 2 hours can be 100% focused on sourcing. I would even put on here, go to the bathroom before you start this, even if you don't need to go. I feel like I'm talking to my kids sometimes. Go to the bathroom. We're about to get in the car. I don't need to go to the bathroom. Go to the bathroom anyway. We don't want to have to pull over a half an hour when you have to go. You know the drill. You go to the bathroom before you go on a long trip. It's just a wise thing. Same thing. Maximize your 2 hour sourcing session. I almost said succession. Your 2 hour sourcing session. I can speak most of the time, so that your time is just maximized, gives you more opportunities to find success and grow your business. So that was step number three. Number four, execute that plan. Stick with it. You put it on the calendar. You're making it a priority. Follow through, and work through your to-do list and make sure that things are taken care of. Get that inventory um, that you purchased either retail arbitrage or online arbitrage after it gets delivered or wholesale after it gets delivered, and then start listing and prepping that inventory to send to Amazon. I This would shock so many people. There have been people who I've talked to who've been in our coaching program, other Amazon sellers who have put in the time. They found inventory to buy to send on Amazon. They got it prepped, and then they just didn't actually list it and send it to Amazon. I'm like, it's like sitting in their garage just waiting. There's just like one final step, and I get it. I understand this. Doing this kind of business can be scary, and sometimes it's like, what if I made a mistake? Well, guess what? If you made a mistake, it's not going to kill you. It's not going to ruin your Amazon business. It's going to be okay. You can survive that. And sometimes a lot of us are just fear of failure. Well, guess what? Those of us that find success on Amazon, you need to get used to failure. You need to get comfortable with failure because um, those of us who fail more than others, those are the ones that are going to find success. The people who are successful have failed more times than we've even tried at things. And so think about that when you're scared of failure. That the people who are the most successful have probably failed at more things than we've even attempted to do. So follow through with that. Follow through, execute your plan, do your to-do list, get your inventory, list it, send it to Amazon. Um, and if you want some help with any of these aspects, finding inventory, listing, processing, wholesale strategies, online arbitrage strategies, retail strategies, we have the answer for you in the full-time FBA coaching program. FulltimeFBA.com/coaching for you to go check that out. We have all this worked out for you. And just remember, every time you do sourcing, continue to follow through this exact same sheet every single time. And it will help you maximize the time that you spend sourcing in your Amazon business so that you can grow. I do want to tell you right before we open things up to Q&A, Full-Time FBA coaching program has a few bonuses for you that disappear Tuesday night, midnight Central Time. So 12 a.m. Tuesday night, these bonuses are going to be disappearing. You get a 30-minute one-on-one call, just me and you. It's a 30-minute strategy call with you and I, where I will help walk you through exactly what you need to do next in your Amazon business or first in your Amazon business if that is what you need. We'll help walk that through and I'll help answer any questions during that 30-minute strategy call where we walk through, you know, it, the things you need to focus on and the things you need to maybe leave for later. Um, there's that bonus. You also, if you sign up for the Full-Time FBA coaching program. In fact, I want to thank those of you who have already signed up for the coaching program. I can't wait for our first coaching call where you are there. I'm super excited about that. But if you sign up for this coaching program before midnight Tuesday Central Time, you also get our masterclass, how to have a six-figure Q4 masterclass, where I walk through all the things you need to do to prepare and execute so that you can earn a six-figure Q4. Both six figures in sales, there's a plan for that, and then also six figures in take-home pay, profit in your pocket. There is a plan for that. You get that bonus by signing up for the Full-Time FBA coaching program before midnight tonight. And then there's a pay in full bonus. A lot of you were excited and hoped that you would win the full-time FBA starter kit with the impulse sealer, Dymo printer, the Dymo labels, and the 400 poly bags in 4 different sizes. We're going to be throwing that in also. If you pay in full for the coaching program, that's going to be a bonus for you. But all three of those bonuses disappear midnight, Tuesday night, Central Time. So all the information about the coaching program and the bonuses you'll find on fulltimefba.com/coaching. So you can go check it out, find out which plan works best for you, and join us for this. So we're going to transition now to our Q&A. So Rebecca's going to come back on here and we're going to transition to answer your questions about the sourcing success sheet and anything else, questions about our coaching program, anything that you need help with, I'm here to answer.
All right. So we've got a couple of questions to start with that have to do with this the apps or the extensions that you use when you are sourcing. I think this is from um, kind of from what you were doing just now when you
Mhm.
showed your screen. So do you use any extensions that manage your apps, make it easy to turn on and off? Or like, how do you manage your Chrome apps and extensions so the screen isn't cluttered or the computer slowed down?
Yeah, it's a good question. I basically have a bookmark on my computer that is the it's a link to being able to turn extensions on and off. Most of the extensions that I use are on all the time and they don't slow my computer down or busy up my computer screen. There are a few that I use that I will turn off, but I've got just a link on my bookmarks that I go to that page, turn off that extension, reopen the window or reopen the tab because that's what you need to do to kind of activate those changes, and then I can move forward from that. But that's what I do to make sure that the extensions, and again, most of them I have on all the time.
Yeah, I usually have mine all on all the time as well. And the only time that I have a problem with it is if I've got too many other things that Chrome is trying to do at once. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of an easy fix to turn it on and back off again. Um, you were talking about wholesale sourcing. What about wholesale and retail? Is that more time consuming or costly? I'm not sure exactly about that. I guess, can you compare wholesale sourcing versus retail arbitrage, online arbitrage? Which one would you say is more time consuming? Which one's more costly? Kind of a breakdown of the pros and cons of those.
Yeah, I would suggest if you are just starting out with your Amazon business to focus more on retail and on an arbitrage because the time investment and the financial investment in that is going to be more affordable and when it comes to money and less time when it comes to the time involved. Wholesale is more of a long game and more of a reaching out to lots of wholesale brands to ask them to sell them on Amazon. Most of them will say no, which is good. You want them to say no. This is kind of a bonus training. You want them to say no because you want to just be able to convince them that you are a quality buyer of their wholesale brand, and you want that brand to continue to say no to everybody else. Again, that's something else we can jump into later. Um, but when it comes to actually buying inventory with retail arbitrage and online arbitrage, you can go, like, I'm just going to buy one of these, or I'm just going to buy five of these. But with wholesale brands, they have minimum opening orders or minimum reorders. Usually, those minimum opening orders or minimum reorders, they are not that bad at all. Like maybe $150 for a minimum reorder, maybe $300 for an opening order. Um, and it's people assume that's a lot, and it sounds like a lot. $150, $300, it's a lot of money, but it goes quickly. Like it might just be a handful of items that you are purchasing to sell. And so again, if money is really tight, then retail and online arbitrage would be a better time focus for you, or even taking it back a notch, garage sales and thrift stores and grow from there because it's possible. That's what we did. We started with garage sales and thrift stores and clearance sales and grew from that to get to a place where we're able to do retail arbitrage and online arbitrage to find replens. And most wholesale items are replens, items that you can find again and again to sell again and again. And
Okay, I'm here. I just have to turn off my camera because I have something in my eye.
oh,
So, how do you protect your account health when making sourcing decisions?
so there's a couple different tools that I like to use. The main problem with when it comes to your account health um, is is purchasing counterfeit items. So we always want to make sure we're purchasing from a legitimate brand or store, and then keeping the receipts or the invoices that are connected with that purchase. And so there's that. So if you ever go to an online store and it just seems uh not legit, that I would do a Google search of that store and also include the word reviews or trustworthy, and just kind of see if there's people who are posting things online about the store being iffy or selling counterfeits or whatever. um but another aspect of your Amazon business that could get your account in trouble is intellectual property claims that come from the brand. Others might be coming from your competition who is acting like a brand. It's not actually a real intellectual property claim. And so the way that we mostly avoid this, there is a tool called IP Alert. If you go to fulltimefba.com/IP Alert, Rebecca will put that link in the chat. You can find out which brand names are known to give those IP claims. And so, is it perfect? No, it's not going to hold all of them. But if you ever experience an IP alert, an intellectual property claim against you, then you want to notify IP alert, add this brand because it gave me an IP alert. And
I'll
so,
add I'll add
yeah,
to that too because you were talking about Rev Seller earlier. Rev Seller is not, are they partnering with IP Alert or is it a different one?
yes,
Is it IP Alert? Yeah,
yeah,
so there's a spot on Rev Seller too. We were showing earlier about restrictions, but there's also a spot that shows um I think the default is for it not to show anything there, but if it is a known IP problem brand, it will bring up a little button up there at the top near the restriction
yeah,
button that says IP.
yeah.
Okay, let's see what's next. Um, What criteria do you use when you're sourcing for inventory? Are you looking at the top 5% or a lower rank?
It's actually different for the cat. Like if it's an office supply category, I want to get something in the top 3% or lower. If it's a toy category, I like in the top 5% or lower. Um, and by lower, I mean lower number. Um, and so just I have different um comfort zones with different sales rank numbers, but I don't do anything above 5%. If there is a sales rank that has an average sales rank over time of something that is higher than 5%, 6%, 7%, whatever, then I do not like selling those items. They're not selling quickly enough for me to expect a sale in the next 30 to 60 days.
That's a worksheet in one of our courses too that within the coaching program. Is it Jumpstart Amazon that worksheet is
I
in?
think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that we have a worksheet that you can go through. Stephen talks about his comfort zones in each of the different categories. And then there's also a worksheet that you work through and decide what your own comfort zones are, because you shouldn't just go off of what Stephen says. You should go off of that's a good starting place. But then once you get some experience, you decide, okay, what are my own comfort zones? What are my own criteria? And it's good to have that kind of written down to help you make those sourcing decisions, in addition to having written down things like what are my ROI parameters, what are my dollar amount of profit parameters, those type of things. And that could be different from category to category as well. And that just helps you make better buying decisions, because sometimes in the heat of the moment, you're like, oh, this looks good ish. It's not the best, but should I
Mhm.
get it? Should I not? Nope. My criteria says no, I'm not going to buy this.
Yeah. And the more that I think about it, it's our sales rank course that walks you through
Is it sales
dis
rank?
discovering the comfort zones
Okay.
for what you're going to be buying.
Okay, good. I couldn't remember which one that was in. It sounds like a jumpstart type thing, but that it
Yeah.
also would fit in sales rank. That makes sense.
Yeah. There might be some overlap, but it's definitely in the sales rank course.
Okay. I get too many mismatches in tactical arbitrage. Is there another sourcing tool that you use? I tell you what, manual sourcing. That tactical arbitrage is great, and we use it quite a bit. In our VA, one of our VAs uses it. We have two sets of VAs. We have our VA team that is doing our sourcing for OA success leads, and they do all manual sourcing. They don't use tactical arbitrage. And then I have another VA who I work with on a full-time basis, and she does use tactical arbitrage regularly, and she helps me with tactical arbitrage because there are so many mismatches that it's like you do a scan and then I have her look through it and then I look through it, and that kind of like filters stuff out. Because yeah, there are some that is a known problem with tactical arbitrage, that it can produce mismatches. And again, that's one of the reasons why you should let them know on a regular basis, click the little buttons to report mismatches so that they can work on improving their product. But there's just really nothing that beats manual sourcing. It's time
Yeah.
consuming, it is tedious, but it is what produces the gold.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. And the people who run tactical arbitrage, they're aware that there is sometimes mismatches, which is why they welcome corrections. They welcome knowing these type of situations, and but still by far it's one of the best,
yeah,
not perfect, but it's one of the best tools out there
it's
for
pretty awesome.
finding those items that you can sell on Amazon for a profit.
Yeah. Okay. How often are you hit with regating?
It is very rare. And I mean, like I feel like last year there was just one, and that regated, that we bought and sold on a regular basis. And we still go back and double check it every month to be like, are they going to allow us back in?
I
We
think that one just got gated for everybody. They just
yeah,
slammed that door shut and they're not reopening it.
yeah, I think so too. And the thing is, it's pretty rare. Um, I do know that if you're closer to the beginning stages of your Amazon business, it's going to happen more often for you, especially in Q4. In Q4, because again, the brands decide for themselves what the parameters are that they will allow third-party sellers to sell their items on Amazon. And sometimes when it gets closer to Q4, they like to tighten up those parameters. And so it might be that you used to be approved to sell it, but then sometime October came around. Now you're not allowed to sell it anymore. Double check again in January if you're not back. Maybe you have to reapply again because I don't think they'll just automatically reapprove you without an application. But go back and double check in January, even sooner, because things might work out better. Also, if you start noticing I've gotten some negative feedbacks and my seller metrics have gone down, that might also trigger regating with restricted items that you used to be approved to. But again, some of them are just out of control. We have no idea.
Okay, this is our last call for questions for tonight. We have questions about selling in general, questions about what we talked about tonight, questions about coaching. Oh, now we're getting a bunch of questions. Why do you use RevSeller and not something else like Seller Amp? I mean, just because it's what we've used for so long and we really like it. One of my VAs, I would say two of the VAs I know use RevSeller and another one uses AZ Insights. I mean, they're all pretty comparable. A lot of them have the same features. It's a lot of it just comes down to personal preference.
Yeah, we like Rev Seller because they always are improving
Yes.
and coming out with new features, like adding a opportunity a partnership with the IP alert, where it's like if you're already a Rev Seller, guess what? You don't have to pay for IP alert anymore because it's now combined and working together, and it's just super.
Yeah. They stay on top of like the fee structures that change throughout the year. Like right now, they have as the default the peak rate, shipping rates that flips back to not being the default anymore after the beginning of the year. So it's pretty awesome. What do you look for in a Keepa chart? That is a huge, massive question that we have an entire course on. So I don't know what you want to say about that, Stephen.
Yeah, I would say if you haven't checked out day two,
Yes.
fultonfba.com/day two should take you to the replay page.
Is
Just
it two or three? I think two is replens and three is
That's
Keepa.
true, day three. Thank you for
Yeah.
correcting me on that. fultonfba.com/day three. If that link still takes you to a Zoom call, after this call, it will be fixed. Where you can watch us walk you through a quick little Keepa introductory and kind of what we look for. Um, and if you're watching the replay on this and that replay is not on anymore, you can also go to fultonfba.com/ what is it? Learn Keepa?
Read Keepa.
Read Keepa, yes.
Yeah.
fultonfba.com/read Keepa, and it will be a little introduction to Keepa. But yeah, we have a 5 hour long course on how to use Keepa and understand Keepa. That's part of our coaching program. If you sign up for, I think it's all any program.
Yeah, I
12.
think that one's included in the 12-month and the 6 month because it is
Yeah.
that important that we wanted
Yeah,
to make
and it
sure.
is that awesome. I
Yeah,
even bought a shirt with a Keepa
it
logo.
is fire.
It's fun.
Yes, you did have a Keepa shirt. I remember that.
Yes.
What is the difference between Keepa and tactical arbitrage? Which one do you use for finding products?
So basically, it's like different angles. Keepa is like if you already have a product either in hand or you're looking at online and you want to see the sales history and price history of that product, you use Keepa. Tactical arbitrage is like I want to look at every product in a store and basically I want Keepa to turn it into a spreadsheet that I can put in whatever parameters that I want, and then sort the spreadsheet however I want when it comes to what are the most ROIs, which sales ranks are the lowest, which there's different ways. So it's just two different tools that help you look at product sourcing in two different ways. I feel like both of them, like it's not an either or. If you're
Yeah.
gonna be selling on Amazon, it's good to use both.
Tactical arbitrage is taking a website or a set of ASINs in a spreadsheet and matching it with the Amazon catalog. So that's what when we say there's mismatches, it's saying it's taking this list of products and showing you this list of product listings on Amazon that match with this retail store. And then you can look at whether or not that buying from this store would be a good resell on Amazon.
Hmm.
And you use the Keepa data to make the decision about whether you want to buy it or not.
Correct.
Okay. We're down to our last couple of questions. Is the 6-month coaching option listed on your blog? It is on the website. Yes, it's at fulltimefba.com/coaching. And you would be able to see if you go to that link, and I'll put it again here in the chat. Anything you want to say about that, Stephen?
I mean, if you start scrolling down, the first thing listed is a 12-month coaching, but if you scroll down just a few more lines, you'll see the 6-month
Yeah.
option right underneath it.
We have 6-month and 12-month, and we have group and individual. Those
Yes.
should be the options that are listed there. All right, last question. Is it possible for sellers to share the cost and time of a good qualified VA?
I mean, I feel like it's possible for that to happen. I mean, if you're able to find a VA who, you know, wants to also let another Amazon seller uh to have access to them, you mean I think
Or that you if it's I think that's more of a question of, how many hours does the VA have available to work? And then are you willing to partner with somebody else to do that? Is this a relationship that you can trust that other person? Because there's a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Like proprietary business information that a
yeah,
VA gets access to that a lot of times FBA sellers want their VA to only work for them so that they are the only one getting the information from the VA, and the VA is not free to share that information with anybody, their business information with anybody else. In general, VAs are very trustworthy and they know that their livelihood depends on being trustworthy.
right.
But it's still, it's sharing a VA is a situation where you'd really need to be able to trust a person that you're sharing that person's services with.
Yeah, I think that's a good answer.
Yeah. All right. I think that's where we're going to leave it for today because we're right at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, so I hope everyone enjoyed this kind of sample of what it kind of is like to be in our full-time FBA coaching program, coaching session. Again, we start off with our wins. You get to learn something, you get to ask questions and about what we just learned. You get to ask questions about currently what your Amazon business is like and how to best meet your goals. And then we close up all of our sessions with the goals that we're going to be focusing on over the next 2 weeks, knowing that we're going to come back in 2 weeks and follow up on each other and continue to support and help each other along the way. And we just invite you to our coaching program. These bonuses, our Q4 masterclass, our bonus of a 30-minute one-on-one call with you and me, um, they're going to be going away after Tuesday night, midnight Central Time. So we want to make sure you come and join us and hang out with that. If you still have questions, you're like, Stephen, I want to ask you these questions. ultimatefba.com/connect. If you want to put together a connect call, we have some openings next week and really invite you to do that.
Yeah, if you do schedule your Connect call, I know the bonuses go away at the end of Tuesday, but if you schedule your Connect call before then, and there's not an opening until after Tuesday, you will still get those bonuses. So make sure you get your call scheduled by Tuesday, even if it's on the calendar
Right.
after Tuesday, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. But I hope you guys have a great weekend. Don't forget, Sunday, we're taking the day off. Monday night, we're coming back. We'll have some of our coaching students. You can ask them your questions about the coaching program. We'll talk through again our coaching program and what it's like. And then Tuesday night, we're going to finish out with one last big Q&A. If any questions that you come up with, we will answer those. And we'll enjoy just finishing up this 5-day Q4 Income Accelerator workshop with just a few bonus days. But God bless, and we will see you guys Monday night.
Have a good evening. Let me save the chat.
Oh, good. That's good. I'm glad you said that.
Chat is saved.
All right. See you guys. Bye.
Bye.